Leave no playlist unfinished, driver. Ring a bell. He is a legend in the world of freestyle motocross. The guy has countless victories in freestyle competitions and broke jump records, like his 29.3-meter motorcycle jump on the replica of the Vegas Triumphal Arch. He's so good that he was even chosen as the stuntman for the world's most famous British spy. You're riding his bike, a KTM 450 with a Robbie Madison modification that won't go unnoticed. Where he talks about his career. It's a fascinating listen. If you want to find it, go to the sounds and record track list of your music player.
For this trial, you're free to go wherever you like. Make the most of it. Mommy's got their hands in NASCAR, sure. But they're also throwing loads of money into Alpha Grand Prix. No wonder, given how popular it is. I reckon they're trying to make Lee's next star of that field. Well, time to show him he ain't all that. For the kid's own good, of course.
To resume our progression. On this playlist. By the way, Becky did a podcast with Bobby Madison where he talks about his career. It's a fascinating listen. If you want to find it, go to the sounds of Red Bull track list of your music player.
targets while jumping. It's freestyle motocross, so do all the freestyle tricks you can think of and smash the Joker's time.
Tracklist, where Ellie Hunter talks competition and burnt rubber with professional drifter Connor Shanahan. Definitely the podcast to listen to if you want drifting tips. I can't wait to see you tame the M4.
like a drift brother. Having 1,000 horsepower drift machines for himself and his brother Joe. Enjoy it. It feels absolutely sick drifting with this monster.
One more immortal in your path, perhaps the toughest, the Ace. The action list that awaits you is an AGP event, but Red Bull style. If you've ever seen a Red Bull video with an AGP drifting in the dirt, you'll know what I mean. We've taken the most modern model, the RB20, and fitted it with rally tyres and slightly beefier suspension, just in case you need to jump it. Basically, it's an all-terrain AGP, so as well as being a muddy event, it's going to be really fast.
Set the bar high, but that was to be expected. We gave you an AGP with a rally wheel set. It's precise, it can go anywhere at high speed, and with all that, it can jump.
mixed event. Same rules as before, except that you're going through 3 different disciplines. Once you've validated a vehicle's checklist, you move on to the next action list. On the program, motorsurfing with Bobby Madison's KTM, followed by a racing car action list with the Ferrari 488 GT3, and to top it all off, an actionless stunt plane. No shame in trying again. Intimidating at first, but you've proved you're crazy enough to tame an extra 300. It's your last wild ride, driver. Enjoy and show them who's the realest daredevil in this playlist.
The Joker, the Ace, and the Queen get together for one last time. It's a event, so it's going to be a shaker. We start with the water bike. Airtime, targets to hit, and wall rides. You know the drill. twice in the air, flying under bridges, brushing against wind turbines. The Queen set her time. Beat it. us. This one will be hard to digest for the daredevils.
Don't forget to grab your reward vehicle, driver. So, daredevils, who's the boss now? Goodness me, I should be careful what I say. I have a feeling this isn't the last time we'll be meeting them. Let's complete this playlist.
There's a particular kind of Ferrari we're going to speak a lot about today. Ferrari supercars. The Ferrari we're about to have in this exciting event is none other than the first Ferrari in the supercar bloodline, the Ferrari GTO.
first supercars that we can define is the GTO. GTO was very simple. If we just start from the name, it was Gran Turismo.
But for now, just enjoy the collector's piece that is the Gran Turismo Homologato. Or like Mr. Vignati Morano said, simply GTO. Version of another iconic Ferrari, the 308 GTX, and as intended, it is one of the fastest street-legal production cars of its time. Interesting fact from my archives. Three-time racing world champion Niki Lauda, one of the few GTOs produced. A gift from Enzo Ferrari himself. Surroundings of the Italian Dolomites, organized exactly 40 years after Ferrari introduced the supercar at the 1984 Geneva Motor Show. But enough with me. Just listen to the car you're driving. She'll tell you her story herself. Tell their stories loud and clear. That introduction. You may now head towards the northern part of the bay. Make the acquaintance of the next two supercars in our Ferrari lineup. You heard me right. The next event will feature not one, but two cars for you to drive. On one hand, the inspired and inspiring Ferrari F40. And on the other hand, the Ferrari F50, a bridge between road and racetrack.
The F50 is a car that is made
the F40 and F50 are yet very different cars, each one fascinating in its own individual way. It's true they bear some similar design elements and, of course, a naming convention. F for Ferrari, and 50 for the prancing horse's 50th birthday, just like the F40 a decade earlier. But the similarities stop right there, because these two siblings are defiantly individual. Turbocharged V8 here. The F50's core is a normally aspirated V12 that came straight from a Formula One. Then there's the bodywork. Composite materials, like the monocoque carbon fiber chassis shaped to aerodynamic perfection. Again, all coming from the racing world. Innovative, intimidating. That sound. It was impressive back then. It still is today. And the car's voice sounds even better from inside. I could ramble on about this car forever, but I'll let it speak for itself now. Car that screams performance and racing spirit with every fiber of its being.